This is the first leg of the triple trio, race number 4 on the programme, which is a class 4 of the 1200 metres. We've had 2 scratchings here. Inno Legend is out, so Sparky Star replaces him. Joe Moreira makes the straight switch. He'll jump from barrier 11. And Oversubscribed is out, so Smart Leader takes his place. Matthew Chadwick will jump on board, drawn more favourably in barrier number 2. So 1200 metres the trip here with the debutante included. But Regency Star heads to the list for Harry Bentley from barrier 6. Could well roll forward from there. Youthful Deal makes his debut for Frankie Law. Zach Purton from barrier 10. Durham Star won 3 starts back. 3rd on his next 2. Sure Joyful's drawn well here. Barrier number 1 for him. Derek Lung in the saddle. Dragon Kingdom, he's got speed as well. He's drawn barrier 5. As we move further down through Happler Friends, Hampton Veggie, Harrier Jet, the 10-year-old. He's had a good season though without winning. Numerous minor placings. Tailor Made returns here. First up since March. Drops back from the 1800 metres though to the 1200 mark.
They'll run this along at pretty good speed. Andrew Dragon Kingdom from barrier number 5 and Youthful Deal across from barrier number 10. He was a handy in a trial where he beat Gorgeous Inheritor. Super Class 3 wide. Durham Star, he's going to be 3 wide with some cover, so he might not mind that too much because he is best saved for one late run at them. Sparky Star is out there as well. He comes into the field. And Tailor Made, Paul, he hasn't raced since March and he's coming back from the 1800 to the 1200. But stablemate Nunchucks did something similar on the weekend.
Yeah, he did, sorry, but this one just hasn't got the same amount of speed earlier, I think, so he'll go back. Sparky Star is another one that's back in trip as well.
Okay. All right, we'll have a look at a couple of replays in a moment. We'll start off, though, back at track work with Nick as he catches up with the debutante's jockey, Zach Purton.
Zach, Youthful Deal is a horse I want to speak to you about. He's looked eye-catching in his recent trial at Happy Valley.
Yeah, his trial was good. He hadn't shown too much in Trongfar. He come down and obviously enjoyed being at the city circuit. He got around there quite nicely, but he's drawn an awkward gate here, and he was meant to run a week or so ago, and he had a fever between his trial and the intended run, so he obviously had to take it a little bit easy, and Frankie had to find another race for him. So this is where he slots in. So whether fitness-wise he sort of just dropped off a bit from that trial, I'm not sure. But it's a tough task for him from that gate, first time around there at the Valley under lights. So and he's missed the work, so he's going to need to be sharp and be on his game. But he feels like he's a nice enough horse, and hopefully he can overcome those difficulties.
Yeah, and I guess the track craft he did show at Happy Valley, I mean, it was quite noticeable that he seemed to muster quickly and travel nicely throughout around those turns. Yeah,
which was unlike what he'd been doing in Trongfar. He hadn't been showing much speed at all, and he'd actually been dropping out in his trials, so it was good to see him show a little bit of speed and then show a nice turn of foot as well. But he's big, he's raw, he's far from being the finished product, and it's never easy at the Valley, especially at the first start.
You would have done your due diligence, I'm sure. Obviously, you won a couple of trials for Peter Roble in Australia. Has Frankie always had an opinion of this fellow?
That I'm not sure of. He just put me down on the horse to trial him, and then I got the feeling then, and obviously liked what I felt. So hopefully, he can win a race or two for us before the end of the season. That'd be perfect, but might be asking for a little bit much.
Looks a nice prospect though, doesn't he? That's Youthful Deal. Has drawn barrier number 10 though, so it might be tricky to slot in from there. What are his rivals then, Mark? Smart Leader and Dragon Kingdom, any chance?
I haven't got either of these in, although Dragon Kingdom's been racing well. This third is behind Sweet Diamond, beaten 3/4 of a length. He was winner 4 starts ago in Class 5, and he's had the 3 goes back in this grade after that, Paul, including this third, a 2nd behind Majestic Knight and a 6th behind Phoenix Light. Just how much pressure he's going to get in front might tell where he finishes.
Yeah, look, the one that's likely to put pressure is the one Zach's horse, that Youthful Deal, if he comes across. If he doesn't, and does get his own way, look, he stayed on nicely enough, I thought, once again in this race. I have included him on a minor line.
That was Bundle of Charm in that race as well, wasn't it? Absolutely hosed up on the Saturday. Finished 4th there, I think. Sparky Star, Paul, what about him?
Yeah, I mean, this is 1400 metres. He now comes back to the 1200 for Sparky Star. He does come into this particular contest. He doesn't mind Happy Valley. He's been placed a couple of times. It was just the 1200 that worried me.
Yeah, I've actually put him in just with the anticipated speed in the race, and if he is 3 wide, that might not be the worst thing if he's got some cover out there. He's best saved for a late dart at them. As Paul said, couple of goes around Happy Valley, He's placed 2 times, so he handles the small circuit okay. So gets Joe on as well for Benno Young. He's in the top 4.
OK, so chance for him as well. Back at the trials to have a look at this one, Mark. It's Sure Joyful actually wins the trials, or sits on speed and then kicks away a bit.
It's Roger's Doctrine who he beats in the trial as well, and he was placed on the weekend. Derek Long rides for Ricky Yu. He comes back in trip from his last start, but thought his trial was okay here, Paul, and the combination's having a really good run at the moment to Derek Long and Ricky, and from the inside gate he'll get a cushy run. Yeah,
so look, I'm like you, I've included him just on the minor line as well, but from barrier 1, this was a good trial from him. So by Tarzino, this horse, you always think he's going to be a lot further than 1200 there.
He drew barrier 1 2 starts back and ran well and had a wide gate last time and finished down the field, so maybe the barriers will help him. Wide market again though, Paul?
Yeah, look, I'm going to go with the first starter because I think it's a winnable race. I know it's going to be awkward from the barrier draw for him. He's going to need all sorts of luck, but he just may be a little bit better than these horses, so he's on top. Regency Star, now he's come up a big price. He's at 33 at the moment. Did win nicely 4 starts ago. Again, a horse who's drawn nicely in 6. He can put himself on the pace as well. Dragon Kingdom and Sure Joyful we talked about. 3, 1, 8 and 6.
Not ideal having had the fever after the trial, but the trial was so good around Happy Valley, pricked the ears and jogged at winning easily by 2.5 lengths. So 3 Youthful Deal on top. Sparky Star, the further they go, the better he will look. Durham Star, something similar. They both like to get back and run on, and Sure Joyful from that perfect inside draw. 3, 2, 5 and 6.
We've all got the 3 and 6 in our numbers there. That's my cue in actual fact. I've gone with Youthful Deal on top. He might just be a little bit better despite that wide gate. We will see. Race 4, a class 4 of the 1200 metres, which is also the first leg